Hi, everyone. I hope everyone is doing well. Thank you for being here tonight. And I do apologize for those of you that attempted to watch my Monday Night Live last week that I was not there, but I had an internet outage and then was without internet for most of this past week. So I do apologize to everybody for that. But I do want to thank you all for being here tonight. And I'm going to just start going down the list of chats here and we'll jump right into things. Hi, Jay. Jay's telling me that I scared him half to death when I didn't show up on Monday night. No caribou liver for me? Darn it. That's actually my favorite. So I'll have to be a better girl next time so I get the caribou. Hi, Charles. How are you doing? Charles O'Neill says, what time is this going to be? Central? Yep, 2 a.m., I believe, your time. Thank you, Jay Delaney. Happy Mother's Day to everybody out there. I hope all you mothers have a good Sunday and a happy Mother's Day that you can spend with your family and your children. Hi, Danny. How are you doing tonight? And she says, I hope you have a wonderful dinner for the occasion. I am not sure what I'll be doing tomorrow. Probably sleeping, actually. And hello, JR. How are you doing? Thank you for posting the time there for Charles O'Neill. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being here. Hi, Patricia. How are you doing tonight? Happy Mother's Day to you, too. And Brooklyn, how are you doing tonight? Happy Mother's Day also. Hi, Billy Bob. And I did make it. Yes, I did. And hello, Steve. How you doing? I just left Steve's live stream not too long ago. He had one tonight, as he does on most Saturday nights. Hi, Weed Eater. How are you doing tonight? Thank you for being here. Hi, Timothy. How are you doing? Yeah, as I stated, it was just an internet outage. I'm doing fine otherwise. Hi, Ira. Thanks for being here. And Ira is saying that she stayed up to meet me or to greet me here at 3 a.m. because she's in South Georgia. Hi, Heidi. Heidi says good morning from Indiana. And Happy Chappy, how are you doing tonight? And says waiting with bated breath. Thank you for waiting for me patiently. Hi, Ivia's Life. How are you doing tonight? It is nice to see you here in the chat on your Sunday morning as well. I appreciate you being here. Ira says, was worried about you last Monday. Happy you are here. Well, thank you very much. I'm happy to be here and I'm happy you are back in the chat. And Donna Heaton, hello. How are you doing tonight, Donna? Says hello, everyone from Northwest Washington State. And Sally Ray, nice of you to be here from Petersburg, Alaska. Thank you for joining everyone in the chat. And Steve says he's waiting with bad breath as it's late. And he was about to go eat chocolate and popcorn, I think, when I last talked to him. Hello, AK Homegrown Roots. How are you doing tonight? Glad you could be here. And Redneck Prepper, who was also there in the chat on Steve's live stream. And LaRue Douglas, how are you doing tonight? Says, hello, everyone. I made it. Thank you for being here. Happy Chappy says, oh, yay. Missed you. I've been saving your videos for Sundays. That's nice. Hopefully you have a nice, relaxing Sunday then, watching all my videos and get a good giggle out of some of my antics. And LaRue says, happy Mother's Day to you and to everyone else. Well, thank you, LaRue, and happy Mother's Day to you also. And Redneck Prepper says, son is going to make ribs tomorrow. That sounds tasty. AK Homegrown Root says, happy Mother's Day to all. And same to you. Redneck Prepper says, hey to Steve over at Steve's Woodworking. And Adam and Phyllis from Alaska Cut the Cord is here and says, good evening, Alone. Nice to see you. Happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you, Phyllis, as well. Thank you for being in the chat tonight. And Neva Parker, hello. Thank you for being here. I Met Gunn says hi from Massachusetts. I appreciate you showing up here tonight. Happy Chappy says, today is the first Mother's Day without Mom. So tonight we're having Mom's lasagna for dinner together a bit later. Oh, well, that's nice. That's a nice way to remember your mom. Hi, Bren. Bren Freeze here, everyone. It says hello to everyone. And Redneck Prepper is saying to Steve over at Steve's Woodworking in Homestead, nice turning on the lathe you did for the Fatwood Queen, Shalisa. Shalisa has a channel called Fatwood Queen, and she has been taking up some woodworking lately. So that's kind of nice. Hey, Rob, how are you doing? Rob and Sarah from Curmudgeon Inn, thank you for being here. And LaRue says it's raining here in Kensett, Iowa. Yeah, no rain here yet. It rained yesterday, which was not good because I still have a lot of standing water on the driveway. So I was hoping that the water would go away before the rains came, but that didn't happen. I don't think it rained too much though last night. It was late when it started. And IB is Life says, thank you, doing fine. Just a bit tired after a late night with the girls. Had a long night with wine around the fire pit. Happy Mother's Day. Well, I bet you had a wonderful time sitting around that fire pit, especially with all your friends over. And Charlotte and Dave Story, thank you for being here. They say morning from England. Thank you for joining tonight. Donna says, happy Mother's Day to all you mamas. Alone as well. It was 89 here today and 90 something tomorrow. Woo, that's warm. I think it got up to 50 here today. So 90 would be quite the heat wave. And Steve says, peanut butter and crackers was the best I could do. So no popcorn, no chocolate. I bet it was still a good snack after all that talking, though. And Pauline Parker, hello from Florida. Thank you for joining tonight. And Redneck Prepper says she's a great person, talking about Shalisa, the Fatwood Queen. And Redneck agrees. And hi, Jim Bogan. How are you doing tonight? So glad you could be here. Pauline says, happy Mother's Day. Happy Mother's Day to you as well. Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn says, heading to bed. You all have a great night. Just wanted to stop in and show her some love with a thumbs up. Thank you very much for doing that, Rob. I appreciate that very much. And tell Sarah I said hi. And Weed Eater is showing some love there. Thank you, Weed Eater. And Brooklyn says, rearranging the pantry shelves to add a new one because I ran out of room. I know the feeling, and it's very easy to do when you're busy canning and putting stuff away all the time. Jay Delaney said, I had to try and stay up to see the most beautiful woman in Alaska. Well, when you find her, let me know. And he says, now I have to go to bed. Happy Mother's Day. Well, sleep well, Jay. I appreciate you staying up just to chat with me for even a brief moment. And Weed Eater says, happy Chappy, I hear you, and a great plan. JR says it was 95 degrees Fahrenheit where he is today. Yikes, you guys are really getting up there in the temperatures. And Steve and Alaska's Cut the Cord are saying hello to Rob over at Curmudgeon Inn. Brooklyn says, sorry I missed your live. Had to run to Queens. His live was good. They did. So Rob over at the Curmudgeon Inn had a live on last night, on Friday night, and it was good. So I think he'll have another one next week. Hopefully you'll be able to make that one, Brooklyn and everybody else. JB, hello, how are you doing? Say, hey, yeah, popping in for a minute. It's 2 a.m. in Music City. Well, I hope you can stay for a little bit, but I wouldn't blame you if you wanted to pop off to bed. That's for sure. I know it's late where you're at. Brent Free says, how's the extension pedals on the car going? Well, did I drive the car anywhere? I really haven't driven it anywhere yet since putting the pedals on. Did I do that? No, I went to the post office and it drove fine. It actually did quite well. So it does take a little bit of getting used to not having to sit so close to the steering wheel. So every time I get in, I'm adjusting the seat, and I need to learn to just get in and quit trying to fiddle with the seat positioning. But so far, so good. Happy Chappy says, did you take Kine for a longer drive than just around the circle the other day? Well, he had to wait till the next day when I did go to the post office, but he did at least get to go for a little drive. It was so funny of him popping into the front seat, though. And Timothy says, we need to give Kine a good belly rub. Yes, he would love that. He acts like he's starved for attention. And Rob says, no worries to Brooklyn. What part of Queens? Lived in Hollis, Francis Lewis, and Hillside area. And Ira says, happy Mother's Day to you. I am picking a bunch of roses and gladiolas for my 93-year-old mom who lives with me and cooking her an amazing lunch. Oh, that's very nice. My mother's favorite flowers are gladiolas. So that's very nice. I can only imagine how beautiful that arrangement will be. And Happy Jappy says, thank you to Weed Eater. And Adam and Phyllis over at Alaska's Cut the Corridor saying good night to Rob and Sarah at Curmudgeon Inn. IB's Life says, seems we skipped spring from snow and cold to 20 degrees and sun. We will have flooding this year as there is so much snow in the mountains. I am safe. So we're having the same experience here. I'd mentioned in my last video that Two Bears and Not So Remote Alaska had mentioned that because I plowed early on and then continued to plow over the wintertime, that had caused a deep freeze in the driveway areas. And then that ground hadn't thawed out by the time all the snow started melting on top and the water had nowhere to seep. So that made perfect sense what they said, except for I'm having flooding in other areas of the yard that didn't get plowed and had snow on them all winter long. And I sit at a high elevation and I'm on a hill essentially, and the water's not flowing off the hill. And when I went to the post office, I have to go over several hills to get to my property. And on top of the hills where you would expect water to run off, it's not. It's just sitting on top of the hillsides. Excuse me. And people are having to come in and dig trenches to get that water to run off. And so I'm not sure why there's so much standing groundwater this year, but there absolutely is. Give me a second. I forgot to turn off the flashlight on my cell phone. So I'm not sure why we're having so much standing water, but it seems like you're having the same issue there. IB's Life. It's an odd one this year for sure. And Charlotte and Dave Story says about 7 degrees Celsius here in England. Sun coming up through the mist. Sitting here with a coffee with my new fire pit table, enjoying the silence. Oh, that sounds fabulous. That actually sounds really nice. I sat out by the fire pit the other night, as I showed in my video, and it was really nice to just sit there by the fire, listening to it crackle. It was really peaceful. And Conservative Living, a Democratic Lifestyle says, show us a knife. I would show you a knife, but I don't have one sitting here next to me actually at the moment. So I would, but I would have to get up and go get one. And but I'll show you some in some upcoming videos. How's that? Steve's Woodworking says, happy Mother's Day alone. Do forget to call you know who, or don't forget to call you know who. Don't stay up too late. You need your rest to rest your head. Good night. I'm beat. Well, good night, Steve. Thank you for popping in. I do appreciate it. And thank you for having me on your live stream. And Conservative Living says, got any steak or shrimp? We're hungry. I got plenty of steak, no shrimp, but I do have plenty of steak. I'd have to thaw it out first, though, of course. Happy Chappy says, your roof looks like it would be a great slippery dip slide for you guys. My heart was in my throat. It looks steeper in the video than it actually feels when you're walking up it. I am a bit precocious when I'm walking up it, but it looks really steep. And it looks steep when I'm coming down it, too, because I slide down it onto the ridges as I go down. But walking up it actually isn't as bad. And once I get to the second ridge, so you see me coming up the woodshed and then that first really steep part, and then it kind of levels out because it's only a 112 pitch on the top part, so it's not steep at all on the top part. But I know I gave quite a few people a scare. Brun says, I spent the day gardening and collected fayos. I'm not sure how you say that, so I apologize. Fruit that's ripening. They were sweet and would gladly share some if you all were closer. I saw the thumbnail. for your, I don't know if it was a short that you had done or an actual video, but I saw them and I was going to watch it because I couldn't tell what they're like on the inside. I could just see they were green. They kind of reminded me of an unripened plum is what they look like from the thumbnail. So I'll have to go back and watch though, Bren, for sure. And Bren has some really good shorts. If you guys would like to check out Bren Free's channel, she has some amazing photography on there, some amazing video skills. I think the things that she's able to capture, I'm just like, how did you get that butterfly to sit like that while you were filming so closely? And Steve's reminding me to call my mother. Which thank you, because I freaked out when I've heard Mother's Day. I was like, uh-oh, did I miss it? Hey, John. John Alaska's here and says, hello, everyone. Happy Mother's Day to the mamas. Thank you, John. We appreciate that and appreciate you being here. And Pauline is saying thank you to John as well. And Steve's Word Working is saying to Conservative Living. Hi there. Been a while. So obviously Steve and Conservative know each other. Alaska Cut the Cord says, you are not alone with the frost issues. My road is terrible this year. A grader fell through a frost heave a couple of miles away. Very strange spring this year. Yeah. Who was it that was telling me? Fortress, Alaska was saying in their 25 years of being here, they have standing water for the first time on their property as well. So very strange indeed, I think. And Redneck Prepper says, night to Steve, sleep well, bro. Happy chappy. I'm kind of jealous of the quiet you have, to be honest. I have noise every day and it does get to you. It does get to you. I was the last time that I was in town, so Waldzilla and Palmer and Anchorage, I couldn't wait to get out of town, to be honest with you, because of how much noise there actually is and the traffic too. You get out here and there's hardly a car around. So when you get in a traffic jam and there's lots of cars around you, it's just like, yeah, I kind of like to go back to the other side of the state where it's a bit quieter. So I can understand that jealousy for sure. And Steve's reminding everyone to give a thumbs up. I appreciate that, Steve. I really do. I actually went to go look for the thumbs up button to give myself a thumbs up just reading that. Oh my goodness. My brain sometimes. And Ivy Life says 2 years ago, I had water sitting in the garden. My son and I dug a trench to the spreading ditch for the septic drain filled. No problem since. So I did dig a small trench. So in my video, you can see that mud puddle in front of the bunkhouse, the one that I'm joking about as I'm trying to get the camera to follow me in the end of the video. I did dig a small trench across the driveway so that would drain across, but just as quick as it's draining, it's filling up with more water from the snow melt. But today, with it being 50 degrees, we did get a lot of melt. So hopefully over the next week or so, things really start to dry up out there. But yeah, digging a trench is definitely the right way to go. And Conservative saying to have a good one to Steve. And Redneck Prepper is asking how tall I am. I am about yay tall. I'm just over 5 feet. Just barely over 5 feet is how tall I am. So not very tall at all. And JR says, are you using the Ethernet cable or wireless? That is a good question. I am probably using the wireless. Is it lagging tonight? Because I can switch it. So give me 1 second here and I will do just that, because I have not set up the new. Is it set up? I can't tell. Oh no, I think it's set up. Give me 1 second here, folks. Apologies. I just have to switch it from one to the other. I don't want it to be lagging. So if it is, I do apologize. There we go. All better. So hopefully it's not lagging now. JR is good about reminding me to do things the correct way. And now I lost my place. Sorry about that, folks. There we go. And AK Homegrown Roots is asking, or says, our family took a drive up into Hatcher's Pass today, and we saw a baby porcupine. How cute. Then we took my dad out to dinner at the Windbreak Cafe. What a beautiful day. Oh, that sounds like a wonderful day. I would love to get up to Hatcher's Pass. I heard that it wasn't quite open all the way yet. So hopefully in the next couple weeks I can get up there. That would be awesome. And Timothy is saying Freya's are pineapple guavas alone. Oh, that sounds delicious, actually. Thank you for explaining that to me, Timothy. And Happy Chappy is saying to Bren, oh my gosh, yes, I had them once and can never forget the taste. Alone, they kind of taste like guavas. Perfect. Thank you. And Bren is also explaining the same thing. And you are welcome for the support, Bren. You have, like I said, some really good shorts. So, and I was watching your one where you were, I don't know if it was a short or a video because I was on your channel the other day, but where you're walking through the Australian property, the farmhouse and the shearing shed. And I was just like, yep, I could see myself there for sure. Absolutely. And Happy Chappy says, oh my gosh, so good. That's awesome. Hi, Gnomestead. How are you doing? Nomi is here from the Gnomestead Alaska Off-Grid saying, just popping in to say hi. I appreciate you doing that, Nomi, always. And Alaska Cut the Cord saying hi to John. And hello, Troy Sutton. How are you doing? Says greetings all the way from Pipestern, West Virginia. Well, thank you for being here. It's late for you, I'm sure. And Bren is saying to Happy Chappy, yes, really good. And I roast them with cinnamon and a bit of sugar. Very tasty. Oh, that sounds delicious. Making me hungry here, Bren. Happy Chappy is saying, love your new table set, my friend. Thank you. Looks like it would be great Thanksgiving table. Yes, it would be awesome to have my friends and family all sitting around that table. I'm sure there will be lots of laughs over the years to come for sure. So I'm very happy to have some dining room chairs now. No more sitting on the cooler while I eat. And Thomas Chabot, how are you doing? Thomas says 2:20 a.m. on Sunday. Good morning from Northwest Arkansas. Well, thank you for being here, Thomas. I appreciate it. And Ivy's Life says, it is not lagging for me at least. Oh, well, that's good. And Iris says, no lagging here. Yay. And Redneck Prepper is agreeing with Thomas or saying Arkansas here also, he says. And JR says, audio went a little wacky for a few seconds. Okay. Well, hopefully that gets it fixed then. Because I don't want it to be lagging like it was that one night. And hopefully the image is good on the screen too. I did get a new camera set up and new microphone. So everything should be a little bit clearer and crisper sounding. So fingers crossed that it is. And Charlotte and Dave story say, audio went for about 10 seconds and you went wavy, but you're back now. Awesome. And John is saying hello to Alaska Cut the Cord. Ivy's Life says, happy that you can make a living on YouTube. Yeah, a small one so far. And I haven't dipped into any of the funds that I've made off of YouTube. To be honest with you, even the members, what the members have contributed, and super chats and things like that, I've left all that sitting in a bank account, a business bank account. And I've just used my own money to buy the camera equipment, things like that, knowing that when the time came, I would be able to pull from that business account to, do whatever I need to. But now that I've made this decision, I will have to start pulling from the YouTube fund a little bit, but hopefully it's enough to cover everything that I need to survive. So far, I'm making enough to cover my bills, and that is the best thing that I could hope for at this moment. So thank you, IB's Life. I do appreciate that. And Delia Garcia says, hello, Alone. Nice to be back. Well, thank you. I appreciate it. And I appreciate you being here tonight, too. And Mandu Nanda, how are you doing? Greetings from Los Angeles. Thank you for joining the chat tonight. Happy Chappy says, where's your 27 dress montage? Maybe I'll do a short with all the spring collection. And Gnomestead says, could be better. Lost one of the pups I was sitting for. Oh no. I saw your community post, but I was hoping that she was going to make it. It says, went over the Rainbow Bridge a few hours ago. Been a rough 24 hours. Not feeling very chatty, but listening. I am so sorry about that. Poor puppy. Oh my goodness. And JR is saying Elgato makes some good stuff. So yes, so I have the Elgato face cam and the Wave 3 microphone, and the arm to hold it all up and everything. It's pretty nice. It works a lot better than the last one that I got. The last one was what I just could get at the Best Buy in Anchorage. And this other one I got off Amazon. So it was a good buy for sure. Happy Chappy says, oh, Nomi, that's so sad. Sending you love. Yes. And Pauline Parker is also saying, so sorry, Nomstead. And Larry Mullins is saying hello from Pennsylvania. Thank you for being here, Larry. Appreciate it. And Jared says to the Nomstead, so sorry about the puppy. Yes. Brent says, hugs to you, Nomi. Sorry that it is a sad time. And Louis Massa, how are you doing tonight? Says, how cold is it there? Today it was about 50 degrees. I don't actually know what the overnight lows are getting to, but I don't think we're getting that low right now. Lows are about 40 degrees. So there's about a 10-degree temperature swing between the day and the night. And in fact, I can't really see outside. I think the sun just went down. So it's 11:30 here. And I know before I started the live, it was still bright daylight outside. And then the sun is coming up about 4:30 in the morning, I think. I really am not paying too much attention to it these days. 4:50. So just before 5 a.m. in the morning is when the sun is coming up. And Ivy's Life is also saying, so sorry to Gnomestead. Larry Mullins says, my first Alaska experience was in Skagway 30 years ago. I love Skagway. Like, honestly, Skagway is, I should find some pictures that I have and show them in some of my videos or an upcoming live stream. But Skagway was one of the first experiences I had in Alaska also about, oh my goodness, probably 20 years ago. And I absolutely love Skagway. It is got that true Alaskan feel to it, other than the fact that it is a port town and there's a lot of the same shops in Skagway as you'll find in all the other ports. But it definitely has a feel to it that takes you back in time and is, I don't know, I just think it's quaint. I love it. And John in Alaska is also giving his condolences to Gnomestead. And Brent says, our furry friends are so precious. That they are. They grab a hold of you when your heartstrings, and they're just hard to let go of. Alaska Cut the Cord says, sorry to hear that to Gnomestead. AK Homegrown Root says, finally started hardening off some of my plants today too. Can't wait to start planting. It's a late spring. It is definitely a late spring. I was actually thinking about how I didn't get some other seeds started as early as I would have liked. And then I thought, well, maybe it won't matter because the spring is so late as it is. And with the driveway being flooded the way it is, and you just sink right into the mud. It's like quicksand out there, actually, at this moment. I can't even get the bulldozer back here to grade the backyard just yet. So I might be back to doing a container garden this year as opposed to getting stuff in the ground as I'd hoped. But it's still early. We got a couple weeks. We'll see what happens. If they get it done around the 1st of June, then I'll be happy and maybe I can get stuff in the ground. Happy Chappy says, this is what community is about. Hey, here for each other in the good and the sad times. That is true. Very, very true. Happy Chappy also says, you have that much daylight already? Oh my gosh. Yep. And we still have what? About 5 weeks until the solstice. Yeah. And so over the next 5 weeks, I got to think about it. I'll gain about another hour of daylight over the next 5 weeks. And AK Homegrown it says, oop, can't wait, right? I can't either. I'm so excited to get outside and play in the dirt finally. Hello, List. How are you doing tonight? List, please me says temps in Anchorage. I don't know what the temps are. Let's look at the thing this evening. Sorry, folks. Pull up the little app on my phone here. Anchorage was 47 today, and their low was 45. No, their high was 58. Sorry. They're at 47 right now. And then their sun went down at 10:40 and won't come up till 5:15 tomorrow. So they're a little bit, I guess, further south than I am. Oh, there we go. And he has the the things right there. Oh my goodness. I'm a little slow on the uptake, folks. Sorry. And Mandu says, do you see the northern lights from your cabin? Yes. When they're out, I can, and on a clear night, I can see them over the mountains behind me more than I do on any other side of the cabin. And when they're out there, they're really amazing. It's absolutely beautiful. And Adam and Phyllis are saying, are you using blackout curtains to sleep? No, I'm not. For the most part, I don't have a problem sleeping even when it's that bright out. The only issue that I'm having is when I moved the front door from the front of the cabin and I added a door to the sleeping loft. I use that door and it has a window in it and it faces the east. So when the sun comes up over the mountains, it peers right in through that window and that wakes me up. So first light, I think is, I don't know, if the sun's coming up at 4:50, then first light is about 4:00 in the morning. So at 4:00 in the morning, even though the sun hasn't really risen over the mountains, I'm already awake. So I need to do something. Right now, I've just got an American flag hanging over it, but it's not opaque enough to keep the light out. It does an okay job, but once that sun really is up and over, it's still coming through. So I have a blackout curtain actually on order for that door because yeah, it does get a little bit annoying. IB is Life says, same here. Sun is up at 4:40 and I'm using the blinds again in my bedroom. Not in use all winter. Yeah, well here, I put that insulation up in the winter. So in the wintertime, it's dark in the cabin. That is for sure. There is no light coming in. And Happy Chappy says, Skagway was my first port of call in Alaska. Also, it has a big place in my heart. Yep. It's beautiful little town for what it is. And Nopsid is saying thank you to everyone for your condolences for the puppy. And AK Homegrown Root says, a couple of plants got a little droopy today. It's cool. Well, hopefully they perk right up and they get used to their new temperature swings from day to night and being outside. I need to start hardening off the cabbages. The leeks in the not spring onions, but green onions really didn't take off. But the cabbages did, and so did the squashes. So that's good. And Charlotte and Dave say, here in England, sun setting around 21:30 p.m. And rising around 4:45 a.m. at the moment. So you're having a good full day's worth of sunlight as well. Happy Chappy says, lasagna's on. Hope you're hungry. It sounds delicious for sure. JR says, lowest daytime temps over the next 2 weeks is forecasted to be 83 degrees Fahrenheit. Oh my goodness. I would need to be using air conditioning for sure at that temperature. And Adam and Phyllis over Alaska Cut the Cord says, Willow hit 61 degrees Fahrenheit today. I think Willow, even though, it's kind of mountainous there, I think you guys actually get warmer than it does over on this side of Alaska for sure. But I can't say for honest. I have not really looked at your temperatures. Excuse me. I needed to take a drink there for a moment. And I don't know why the bottle rattles when I put it on that desk, so I'm going to move it. IB's Life is saying to Mandu, You don't see the northern lights in summer. It's too light. That is correct. So here it's best to see the northern lights generally from, well, last year I had an amazing show in September, early in September, but from September really through February or the beginning of March is when they're most visible. And Happy Chappy says, have you been eating? Still waiting on your cooking videos. I need to put the a bisque video together. I have it all filmed. I just need to sit down and get it edited. I was going to edit today. I was going to edit that and a short today, but I actually had a migraine. So that's why I look so radiant tonight, because this isn't actually that I'm packing on pounds. This is actually a sleepy face from sleeping all day trying to get rid of the headache. This is what tired alone looks like. Oh my goodness. But yes, I will get the bisque video out, and I do have lots of other videos that I'd like to get put together for you guys as well regarding cooking videos. So thanks for reminding me to get on that. And Redneck Prepper says, my uncle made a lot of money in the 30s growing potatoes in Alaska, root crop and fast growing. Yes, the potatoes are one of the more popular crops. Potatoes and cabbages, I think, are the things that you see a lot of people growing here in Alaska. And cabbages, I think they said the world record or Alaska's record, I don't know. It was just a couple of years ago, was a cabbage that weighed 135 pounds. That is one big cabbage. I was thinking about it when I read that, like, I wonder what that tasted like. Did it actually have good flavor, or was it just for show and nobody actually ate it? Did they turn it into sauerkraut? What happened to that 135 pounds of cabbage? JR says, as far out in the country you are, it takes them longer time to pipe the sunlight to you. Yes, that's exactly what it is. Heidi says, other than your garden, what big projects will you tackle this summer? Gravel the driveway, build your front porch, move the outhouses, etc. Love seeing your dream list progress. So yes, the garden, getting the backyard leveled, that is one of the very first projects on the list for this year. And unfortunately, the driveway has to be done this year. I can't go another year with it like this. It just is not feasible, because like right now, I only have one small section of the driveway that I'm able to park in and can barely turn the car around in, because everything else is like quicksand and I can't even drive through it anymore. So the driveway, the backyard, I am building a new outhouse, and I'm also going to be potentially building an outhouse for the bunkhouse, because once I get the backyard leveled, then I'll eventually be building a fence around it. And whoever's staying in the bunkhouse, I don't want them to have to come all the way across the property just to use the restroom. So I'll build a bunkhouse or an outhouse by the bunkhouse, maybe this year, maybe next year on that one. And then I have projects inside the cabin uh, for this year as well. So more on that in an upcoming video on some of the things that are going on for sure this year in the cabin. But lots and lots of projects outside for sure. And Thomas says, I sleep better during the day than I do at night. Kind of a nap type person. If I generally take a nap, I wake up and I'm like, oh my goodness, that was a bad idea. But naps, when you're taking them, they feel amazing. But sometimes when we wake up, you're like, I probably shouldn't have done that. But I have no problem sleeping at night. That's for sure. My head hits the pillow and I'm out cold. So I love sleep, I have to admit. Pauline says, I'll say goodnight. I've always loved Alaska. It's a pleasure to meet everyone. Hope to see you again. Well, I hope to see you again. I'm glad you're able to join the chat, and I hope you have a good night's rest. Pauline, thank you for being here for sure. And Louis, is it Louise or Louis? I don't know. I apologize if I'm mispronouncing it. So I'm going to call you Louise, even though it's probably Louis. Do you have to shovel a lot of snow? I should probably be shoveling more. I should probably get a snow blower. But to be honest with you, I don't shovel any snow. It snows so much that, and because I don't work away from the home, so in the wintertime, I'm not really going anywhere, that literally I can just use the sled to sled wood over to the cabin from the woodshed. And it's not that far to walk over to where I'm dumping the slop bucket or the honey bucket, to the outhouse isn't that hard of a trail or trek. Burning trash isn't that big of a deal. Um, and the snow falling off the roof actually isn't landing up against the cabin. It's actually a couple feet out from the cabin. And I have French drains all the way around the cabin. So none of that snow melt is going into the cellar or anything like that. So actually, I'm not shoveling a whole lot of snow, but in all honesty, I probably should get a snow blower and keep the snow clear from around the cabin so that it doesn't potentially become an issue. I hope that answered your question. And Pain Party, hello, Pain Party, says, hi, Alone. Been to Alaska many times, working. My heart is there, but my body keeps me here in the lower 48, taking care of my elderly parents. Anyway, love your vids. And says, I wish them all the time. Or watch them all the time. Yes. Well, thank you for that, Pain Party. And Alaska was in my heart from the first moment I came here as well. I came here on a family vacation and I told my parents, if ever I disappeared, don't look in Alaska because this is exactly where I'd be. It's absolutely beautiful here. So I definitely understand your thoughts on that one. And kudos to you for taking care of your parents as well. That my heart goes out to you for that because that takes a lot of dedication. And Delia Garcia, how are you doing tonight, Delia? Delia says, can green onions be grown in an apartment? Yes, easily. You could grow green onions, like you could get the ones from the store even, and you could just root them in a little bit of water. But you'd be better off if you put them in a little bit of rock gravel, pea gravel is what I'm trying to say, in a glass container. Just do like the bottom layer of that, and then just a thin layer of sand or dirt, and set the green onion bottoms in that, just so they're just barely covered. I wonder if I could draw it out in a diagram. I don't have anything here to write with, though. Well, I have something to write with, but I don't have a piece of paper. Here, let me draw it out. But yes, they can definitely be grown in an apartment very easily. But if you just did the gravel and then you did your sand, this is going to be a horrid demonstration here. See if I can make this look like green onions. See if I can get that to show. So there's your green onion. These are your roots going down into the rocks. And you literally just want that green onion sitting on top of a little bit of soil. So maybe like a 1/4 inch or a 1/2 inch of soil on top of some pea gravel. And you just want to put in enough water so that there's just, you can see water in the pea gravel, but not in the soil itself. And they'll grow just fine in an apartment. You don't even have to buy seed or start that way. You could literally just take an inch of whatever's left after you cut off all the green onions you buy at the store, and you'll have green onions forever that way, believe it or not. Hi, Dixie. How are you doing tonight? Dixie says, my Black Hawk viburnum and wild plums don't look so well, but my farkleberries look great. I don't know what that is. I'm afraid to ask. But I'm glad I don't have any experience with viburnums or wild plums. But I'm glad you have some on your property. We have high bush cranberries here, which are part of the viburnum family, but they don't grow in the area where I'm at, unfortunately. I wish they did because I do love cranberries for sure. Happy Chappy says, the opening music to this week's video was fun and light. Just wanted to say that. Well, thank you very much. I actually have a question for all of you because I've gotten a lot of new subscribers over the last month. And over this video and the one previous, there were some comments regarding my music and music choices that I put in my videos. So I have just a random question to everybody out there, and it doesn't matter to me what your answer is. Like, I'm not going to get offended, is what I'm trying to say. It does matter, but I'm not going to get offended. Do you like the type of music that I put in my videos, or do you find the music to be a distraction to the videos themselves, or what would your advice be on the music, I guess, is what I'm getting at. Because the comments that I got was like, the music is abrasive, it's annoying, and also the scenery. I was told the scenery is annoying, which I thought, that's weird, because a lot of people come to see my videos not only to see how I'm living, but also because I live in Alaska. If I, so I just thought that was kind of an odd comment, but people are entitled to their opinion, but I'm just curious about the music and what everyone thinks about that. But I'm glad that you like the music. I thought it was kind of funny too. And I thought that it was awesome that the last beat of the music happened to match exactly with my last step off of the roof onto the flat part, lined up perfectly. Bren says, oh, and sorry, I skipped right over Carol. Carol, I apologize. Thank you for being here tonight. And Carol says, hi from Illinois. Thank you so much. I apologize. I got ahead of myself there. Brent says, we are in autumn here in Australia. Best time of year, not hot, not cold. The beach nearby is glorious and the forests are stunning. Kangaroos are hopping about. Well, that is awesome. I love the fall too. And I really like the spring. I'm actually kind of hoping that we'll get into the rain part here of spring soon, because um, I love the rain, to be honest with you. And the cloudy, misty skies, that's the best. But be careful out there with all those kangaroos hopping around for sure. Mandu says, I have been to Fairbanks 3 times and saw Northern Lights in November of 2021. That's fantastic. There's a lot of people that come up here to see the Northern Lights, and either the weather just doesn't cooperate or the lights just don't ever appear. So I think it's fantastic that you actually got to see them when you came up. And Brent says, I'd love to see the Northern Lights and bears and moose one day. Yeah, I'm always joking with Kenai about, where's all the moose? Where's the moose and the bears they promised me? They're out there. I know they're out there. I saw evidence of a bear, and I think it was a black bear, and a cub, at least one cub, because there was a trail of scat going through the driveway, and there were a couple paw prints, but I couldn't get the paw prints to show up very well on the camera. Otherwise, I would have shown them. So I know that that there was at least a bear that came through the property. And today, while I was napping, I got woke up because I had the door to the loft open, and I heard what sounded like a woman screaming, and it was an eagle right outside the cameras for the security system screeching. So he caught something and had it up in the tree, but I couldn't see it on the camera. He was higher up than the cameras were. So, but he was quite loud. And Charlotte and Dave say, seeing the Northern Lights and coming out to Alaska is my ultimate dream. Not easy with a disabled 13-year-old, though. That is true. That would be quite the challenge. Well, hopefully someday you get to have your dream of coming to Alaska. And I'm sure, that there are cruises or other travel ventures that might be able to accommodate your 13-year-old as well, because that would be awesome if you could bring your child with you, if that's what you wanted. And Shakar says, I love you. Well, I love you too, Shakar. And thank you for being here. Pain Party says, how are those pedal extensions working for you? Have you gotten to use them? Yes. Yes. So I mentioned this earlier that I did go to the post office and it drove fine. The biggest issue I'm having is when I get in, just remembering not to adjust the seat. Because every time I get in, I think, oh man, the seat's been moved. I got to adjust it. And then I do that. And I'm like, nope, that's not what I need to do. And hello, Rainy Hammond. How are you doing tonight? Good evening to you as well. And Carol Brasket says, you are an amazing person. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. I really do. Happy Chappy says, So random question, but hopefully not too personal. But what kind of music do you like? Do you have any favorite artists and styles? So I guess my favorite style of music outside of classical, because I really do like classical music. Um, but other than that, I would say it's honky tonk or Appalachian music is what I really like. So right now, my favorite artist would be Charlie Crockett. Absolutely love Charlie Crockett. And then Tyler Childers and Coulter Wall. Those are my top three favorite artists right now. I could listen to them all day, every day. Patsy Cline, um, some George Jones, things like that. I could put it on all day long and just be as content as ever. So not too personal at all. And Redneck Prepper says to Charlotte and Dave's story says, I am so sorry to hear about your 13-year-old. And Pain Party says, we all love her, Shakar. I'm not going to say the last part of that. But thank you, Pain Party. And Dixie says 180-pound cabbage. That's not edible. I mean, maybe, but mainly for competition. That's what I thought too, because I was like, it can't have any flavor being that overgrown, you would think. Redneck Pepper says, where can I stay when I come? I think there's a Holiday Inn in Anchorage. There's hotels all around Alaska. You're more than welcome to one of those. IBS Life says, I'm getting fiber optics installed this year. The cable has reached my driveway, so my nephew will dig a tube down my driveway. He's fixing the driveway as well. Dirt and deep wheel tracks. Yeah, so you have the same issue that I'm having where everything's just becoming rutted out by all that. But that's awesome that you're getting fiber this year. Hopefully your internet situation improves greatly with that, because I know you have that issue where you're always just having to sit in the stairwell to get signal. Happy Chappy says, that's no good that you were unwell. Thank you for being here despite that. Do you use natural remedies for migraines like a cold compress behind the neck and dipping your feet in cold water? Yeah, I do use a cold compress for sure. And drinking water, to be honest with you, and apple juice. I keep a bottle of apple juice in the freezer, really, is what I do, because I buy a big bottle of it. Because I find if you just drink a bit of apple juice, the headaches a lot of times just goes away. The other thing is caffeine, even though I really don't drink caffeine on a regular basis. I did try drinking, well, other than coffee, I did try drinking coffee this morning when I got up, but it didn't help. I think it was more dehydration than it was anything. But thank you for your thoughts about my headache. And JR says to IBS Life, you will love the fiber. I have it, but just 1 gig. But just 1 gig? I don't know anything about like gigabytes and all that. I just know that on the DSL, I have 1 gig and I have 1 megabyte. Okay, that's the difference. Because I was like, I have 1 megabyte on an upload and 11 on a download. So that's why it takes me so long to upload videos when I go to upload them. Delia says, thank you, Alone. I will sure try to grow. Lol. Oh, yes, I see your drawing. Thanks. It was the best I could do. I'm glad it made sense, though. And Renek Pepper says, Alone, what did you do for work for a living? The vids are awesome. So I was a inventory manager and procurement. So I did purchasing for a company back in Colorado is basically what I did, and then managed their inventory as best as I could from, as far away as I was. But my background is in inventory management. But thank you for the compliment on the videos as well. And Lewis says, did you build your house from the trees of your land? No, I did not. So this house was built in the early 70s. And I believe it was probably from a kit because they're D logs. meaning that they're actually, I don't know what I just did with that piece of paper. They're actually shaped like a D. So they're flat on one side and then rounded on the other three. And the only thing that I know for sure is that the Arctic entry, so that little building that juts out from the side of my cabin, the logs that were used for that came from the telephone poles from Valdez, Alaska. So when they redid all the poles down there, they sold those off, and those came up here to my property and made the Arctic entry room that I have. But other than that, I assume that this property here was built from a kit. And hello, Bacon Grease. Haven't seen you in a while. How are you doing? Have you found a job yet? So I just talked about this in the video that I just posted. And for those of you that have not had a chance to watch that video yet, spoiler alert, I have found a new job, and that is what you're seeing right now. So I'm going to make YouTube my full-time job for now, and just see how far I can take this. Right now, it's providing me just enough income to cover my bills, and really that's all I really need, is just enough to get by. So hopefully, I can make a go of it and keep it going that way, and then I should do just fine. So thanks for asking though. But yes, I will be doing YouTube as my full-time job for now. And Bren says, Alone, where are you taking us for a hike or a fishing trip? Which adventure next? Well, to be honest with you, I think it's going to be fishing next. And that might be coming up in a very upcoming video, very soon to be released video. Let me put it to you that way. Haven't gone yet, but I am planning a trip to go fishing here very soon. So I've just been itching to go fishing, and I've been waiting for the waterways to open up. I won't be fishing in any of the rivers just yet, because the water's flowing too fast for fly fishing, and it's quite muddy right now. Silty, you can't really see a whole lot. But the lakes are starting to thaw up enough where I can do some fly fishing on the lakes at this moment, and just, right along the edges, but it's still. So fishing and coming up very, very soon. And Dixie says, Farkleberry is a type of huckleberry. I've never even heard of that before. A member of the blueberry family. That's very interesting. I actually hadn't heard that. When I read that word, it reminded me of a game that my parents used to play called Farkle. And so I was giggling in my head about it, because I was like, is that real? And Redneck Prepper says that they like the music. That is good to know. Thank you. Larry Mullins also says the music is fine. And Dixie says the Black Haw viburnum are viburnum, wild raisin trees. Oh, very easy, or very interesting. I did not know that. And Trisha Wymore, thank you for being here. Trisha says, I love the music as well. AK Homegrown Root says, keep the music the same. I like it. That's awesome. And JR says, most YouTubers crank the music up way too loud. Yours is fine. Good. Because that was one of the things I was concerned about too, was that maybe I didn't have it leveled out with my voice. And so I try to do that. But sometimes I'm like, whoa, did it just jump a couple decibels? So if it does that, I do apologize. Weed Eater says, your taste in music is spot on with your videos. Good. Thank you. I appreciate that. That's what I attempt to do. I watch the music and try to match it to whatever the scenery is or whatever the action is going on in it. I mean, it's not like I would pick classical music to the construction that was being done last year, right? And I tend to try not to put the more heavy rock things to things that are more serene. But sometimes I'm sure I don't hit it always on the head. So thank you guys though for what you're saying, because it does help me to understand what my audience is appreciating, and what they would like. So thank you. And Delia says, I love the music you play, goes well with the beautiful mountains of Alaska. Well, thank you very much. And Trisha Weimer says, do what makes your channel you. That's kind of my take on it too. It's like, if I didn't do the scenery and I didn't do the music way I did, then it wouldn't be my channel anymore. It'd be, something else. So thank you. I appreciate that, Trisha. And Lone Wolf Presents, thank you for being here. And thank you also, Trisha, for being here. Says, good morning, everyone. Good morning, Lone Wolf Real Crime Stories. How are you doing tonight? Or morning where you're at. I guess it's morning here now too, since it's midnight. And Brent Free says, your music tells a story to me. My fave song that you used once is I Hope You Dance. Great song. Yeah, that is a great song for sure. And that was a good set of shorts to string together with that song as well. I loved that one. And Adam and Phyllis are saying to Brun, wow, I've been to Australia, but never thought about the season being completely opposite. Yeah, they are definitely the exact opposite of us. And Dixie says, you've caught on to my screen name. Now you only say Dixie. You're busted. What can I say? Heidi says, I personally love your music and the driving scenery. I may never ever get to see Alaska with my own two eyes. I often put your YouTube videos on from start to finish as background noise and music. Oh, well, thank you. I appreciate that. I was going to say that be careful with that, though, because when I'm editing my videos, they lull me to sleep. My voice is right there at that right decibel that I'll be editing. And then all of a sudden I'm like, oh, that sounds so peaceful. And I'm out. And I'm not reading that, Dixie, because I don't know what it says. And because at this moment, to be honest with you, I'm not sure that you're not up to some shenanigans. So I'm going to save myself the embarrassment. And Alaska Cut the Cord says, love Tyler Childers. Yeah, Tyler Childers. I have his whole collection on my Spotify app on my phone and love everything he does. I've not heard a song by Tyler that I don't appreciate. Even though I love Charlie Crockett's music, he does have some music that I'm like, I could skip that song. But like Jamestown Ferry and Welcome to Hard Times, those are some of my absolute favorites by him for sure. And AK Homegrown Root says, all the moose are in Wasilla. Lol, the buggers ruined one of my rose tree of China. Oh no. Well, I have seen some moose tracks on the driveway over the last week, but I have yet to see any moose in the yard this year. They're just not coming around for whatever reason. Send them my way, would you? IB His Life says, the Norwegian classical musician Edward Grieg is made a wonderful piece called Varen to Spring. It is for the melting snow and bird songs. Have a listen. It's beautiful. All right, I'm going to write that down. So give me a second here. Edvard Grieg. I will definitely do that. It sounds like it's got to be beautiful. And Mandu says, there are many Airbnb from Anchorage to Fairbanks and Denali. That is true. And I stayed in an Airbnb just outside of Fairbanks when I came to look at this property. And it was about 5 or 7 miles outside of Fairbanks. And it was awesome staying there because it was just a little cabin. You might have been right off the highway, but there really wasn't any traffic at that time. And it was nice. It was better than staying in a hotel, in my opinion. Good morning, Clint. How are you doing? So nice to see you here on this early Sunday morning. Clint is coming to us from East Texas. And Pain Party says, question for you. You moved from Colorado to Alaska. How did you find your place and where did you start? So I'd been looking for years, seriously and kind of half-heartedly because, I was a dreamer thinking about it. And then once my last child moved from home, I was like, well, all my family lives a couple hundred miles or greater from me. So I might as well start looking more seriously. And I would look every single day on Zillow and on remoteproperties.com and any website I could find. And I just happened to literally stumble across this property. but it had been actually on the market for years. And even though I'd been looking for years, I had never seen it before. And so, um, yeah, just by chance, I happened to find this, and I talked to the sellers, and they told me at the first time I talked to them that there was another family from elsewhere in Alaska that was coming to look at the property, and they were pretty serious about the property. But because of the condition of the cabin, needing a new roof, it doesn't have traditional floors, it doesn't have traditional plumbing, things like that. That other family couldn't purchase the property because they were looking to get traditional financing, and this would never qualify for traditional financing because it's got to have linoleum or carpet in it. It's got to have a traditional roof on it. It's got to be tied into this and tied into that. And um, so luckily, then months later, the seller called me back and asked if I was still interested in their property. And I said, absolutely. And I made plans to fly out, I think within a couple of weeks of talking to them. And I was also looking at another piece of property that was on the other side of the state. And I went out to look at that the day before this one, and I couldn't get back to that other property because the road was flooded. And that was May 7th, 2 years ago. Um, and so the next morning, I drove over here, took a look at this place, and as soon as I drove up onto the property, I was sold. I was sold even before I got out of the car. But then coming in and seeing the potential that this place had, as well as the root cellar below, I knew that this was the place that I was going to call home. So, yep, that's how I found it. Just looking every day online. And Dixie says competitive watermelons growers will inject the vines with their plant hormones so that they can beat Jed at the county fair, 300-pound watermelons. That's crazy. That's absolutely crazy. I've seen the giant pumpkins and things like that, but I didn't realize that they were doing it with other things as well. Hello, Wendy B. How are you doing? Wendy says, I'm so sorry you get migraines. I do too. Yes, staying hydrated is key, and a dark room and rest. I hope nicer weather arrives soon so you can enjoy the outdoors. Well, thank you. I actually love it when it rains and is cloudy. So I'm very happy when it's like that outside. But yes, the migraines are unfortunate thing of that so many of us have to deal with. Luckily I don't get them that often, but when they come, they leave them their impression, that's for sure. AK Homegrown Root says, are lots of Airbnbs, hotels, and cabins all over Alaska. That there are a ton. And Heidi says, can you play any 78s on your Victrola or vinyl specifically made for it? I know nothing about them. So yes, I can. I have 45s and 78s, and I have an adapter. So I can play either size record. And I can slow the speed down or turn it up however I need to make the Victrola play. But unfortunately, I need to have the Victrola um, reconditioned, if you will. Something has gone haywire inside of it, and I'm afraid to break into it myself to see if I can fix the spring in there. But when I crank it, it never quite gets up to speed. And the table for the disc is warped, and so it's wobbling, which is unfortunate because I absolutely love that Victrola. Um, Funny story. I don't know if it's a funny story, sentimental story. That Victrola was actually a wedding gift. Um, from my ex-husband to me when we got married. So not only do I love the Victrola for what it is, but because it does have sentimental value as well. But yes, I can play 78s and 45s and 33s on there as well. So Trisha says, it's 75 degrees here in Southern Oregon coast. No, I'm not ready. It'll be 90 tomorrow. Oh, ouch. It is, like I said, let's see what it says here right now. 38 degrees here, and it is rather warm in the cabin. IB is Life says, to JR. Thank you. Yes, very excited. I will have the standard package with 100 megabytes per second up and down. I'm sorry, 1000 megabytes up and down, whatever that means. Hello, Chris. How are you doing tonight? J. Chris Watson is in the house, folks. And Chris says, a serious prep PSA. When things go bad, they go bad fast. Earlier this week, I was the second responder to a shooting incident at work. 2 people were hit. Oh my goodness. Yikes. It happened at your employment. Oh my goodness. Well, Chris, I am glad that they had you there to be one of the first responders, knowing your background. And also, I'm glad that you were not one of those hit. And my heart goes out to those who were and to their families. I hope everything turned out all right in the end, though. That is so sad. And JR says, IB is life. Yes, that is 1000 megabytes per second, which equals 1 gigabyte per second. I see GCI is offering 2 gigabytes per second in some areas. Yeah, GCI is one of the internet providers here in Alaska, but they don't actually provide internet on this side of Alaska where I live. So, which is unfortunate. And Dixie says, you are a YouTubist. Oh my goodness. I probably sound like a tubist when I talk. And AK Homegrown says, are you going to try your hand at dip netting down on the Kenai Peninsula? Lots of fun, lol. So I'm actually going to do some dip netting here on the Copper River, hopefully this summer. And I'm also going to go fly fishing on some of the other rivers. But hopefully I'll get to do some dip netting elsewhere around the state as well. But for sure, I'm going to do some fly fishing elsewhere on around the state. And I am planning also a trip to Homer in the coming weeks as well. So I'll be bringing you guys along for that one also. And the Redneck Prepper says, thank you, hun. Good night, all. Good night, Redneck. Have a good one. And I will see you on the next live. And Mandu says, music in your videos is very soothing. Thank you, Mandu. I appreciate that. That's what I'm hoping for, really, is when I put in the lighter music that it is actually very soothing. So thank you. Jared says, I'm reading a book on anti-gravity. Can't seem to put it down. Ha ha ha. And Happy Chappy says, dinner's ready. I'll be right there, Happy Chappy, right there. And Clint is laughing at JR's joke. Iris says, looking forward to your next cooking recipe video. I'm cooking for Mother's Day, grilled salmon with rice pilaf and fried squash blossoms from the garden. Oh, that sounds delicious. I'll be right there for that too. And Dixie says, I think there's a Led Zeppelin, Metallica, Pink Floyd, or AC/DC song that fits about any scenario. One of the best lines I ever saw from a TV sitcom was a daughter got busted sneaking all her friends into the parents' basement. And the parents, asked her what they were doing down there. And she said that they had just been listening to Pink Floyd. And the parents asked, oh, yeah, what do you think about Pink Floyd? And she's like, man, Pink Floyd really rocks. And that's how she got busted, because the parents were like, oh, she's not really listening to Pink Floyd, is she? Chris Watson says, the incident was over in under 2 minutes. Thank goodness. I had a tourniquet and pistol that was ready. My officer went from interacting with kids to sprinting 200 yards to firing his pistol 2 times to hit one of the assailants. Yikes. Oh my goodness. My heart goes out to everybody that's in those situations. I just can't imagine being in there and what those children are thinking as that's happening around them. My children, experience school lockdowns quite frequently, never an active shooter at their schools, but for a parent, it's one of the scariest text messages you get when your child texts you and says, the school's on lockdown. We can't leave. We can't do anything. And I can only imagine for the parents that get the ones that say it's actually happening. So, but like I said, Chris, I'm so glad that you were there. And Mountain Truth says, JR, well, I'd lift weights if they weren't so heavy. JR says, since Ed is not here, I have to take over for him. Yes, we need a resident joke teller. That is for sure. Chris Watson's message to all of us is be trained and be prepared. I agree. I absolutely agree. And also, I agree that not only should you be trained and be prepared, but if you're going to carry a firearm, I also recommend that you carry firearm insurance, because if you shoot somebody and their family or whatever decides to sue you, you'll want coverage. So get insurance to protect you, because even though you did the right thing, it doesn't mean that you won't see a lawsuit come your way also, which is unfortunate. Happy Chappy says, how do you go with inserting music in your videos? I've been playing around with some videos before I go live as such, and I tried downloading some songs but can't get them to load. So I use Shotcut as my video editor, and I just add an audio track. So I can right click off to the left-hand side and I can add more video tracks, so I can layer images over, or I can add audio tracks so I can add in the music as I go. That's the only way I know how to do it. But I do all my video editing, even for my shorts. I do it all on my desktop computer using Shotcut. And then I download my music. Most of it these days I'm getting from Artlist is who I use as the service provider. And Dixie says, Gustav Holst, which is what he was trying to get me to say earlier, he wrote The Sweets of the Planets. There are 9 songs starting with Mercury and ending in Pluto. My favorite is Mars, which is the 4th song. Oh, well, that's good to know. I'm wondering if Gustav Holst is who wrote the song or the piece, the music piece, that is, that Star Wars theme was based off of. I bet you it was. I'll have to listen. But thank you for clarifying. And Happy Chappy says it is still a 30-second clip before copyright comes in. I don't think so. I actually don't know. From what my understanding is that, like, I've used a 5-second clip or 2-second clip from a movie without any infringement action happening on it. But I actually don't know if you can use 15 seconds or 30 seconds without there being some type of royalties or infringement or anything like that. Trying to think. There was something I heard, but I don't remember what it is. Yeah, I don't know. Unfortunately. And Dixie again is saying Gustav Holst. Yep, that's what I wrote down. Weed Eater says, folks, please give us a thumb up. Helps along with her vid. Thank you, Weed Eater. I appreciate that very much. And Pain Party is saying thank you, and you're very welcome. Hello, Brett. How are you doing? Brett says, watching from Alberta, Canada. Always enjoy your content. Jealous. I've been thinking it's about time to bug out myself. Yep, that's exactly why I did it. I was like, it is time to just get out of Colorado and start living the life that I want to live. So I hope you get to do your chance at doing the same there, Brett. IB as Life says, have to go and enjoy the beautiful summer day we have here. Need to make the most of the day, the few days like this. Good night or good morning to everyone wherever you are. Good night and good morning as well to IB as Life. I hope that you have a wonderful day and enjoy that beautiful weather. Dixie says, watermelon, huge tomatoes, extreme carrots. I have seen where they grow carrots in the long pots of sand and they get, a 3-foot long carrot. That to me amazes me as well. It's like, that's insane. And Dixie says, gargantuan squash. Yeah, that would be the pumpkin I mentioned, the giant 300-pound pumpkin. Hi, Josepha. How you doing? Josepha says, good morning. Love the last video. Thanks to you on the last video. Hope you received it. I will definitely go in and check for the comments. In case you missed it earlier, I was saying that I slept most of today due to a migraine. So if you left me a comment and I didn't get a chance to respond to it, I do apologize. But I will definitely go in tomorrow to look at that. And Dixie says, does your Victrola have the cabinet speakers at the bottom? No, my Victrola actually has just one speaker at the top, and then it has 2 doors on the front of it, and in behind those doors is a set of drawers to hold all the albums. Yeah. And Mountain Truth says, migraines, vertebrae misalignment, nerve pressure, snap, crackle, pop, as well as the rest of the spine affects all your organs. Relax on the flat, hard floor and roll on your back and pull your head forward. Yep, I was doing that earlier, and as weird as it sounds, I was sleeping with my knees up underneath my chest and my head down between my knees so that I could kind of stretch out my neck and my spine. And believe it or not, that was a very comfortable way to sleep. Hello, Katie Bell. How are you doing from Australia? Thank you for being here tonight. JR says SLA had good results dip netting the narrows of the copper. Oh, that's good. Actually, when I go dip netting, I'm going to go with other people because there's no way I could do that by myself. I don't even think if I tried myself off to a tree, I could do it. And I'll probably wind up actually going with Alaska Cut the Cord, believe it or not, when it happens. We were talking about it when we met just recently. So fingers crossed we can make that happen. And Adam and Phyllis are saying, we recently purchased a Coda raft and could take you down the Willow Creek for rainbows and graylings. Well, that would be good. That'd be a lot of fun, actually. I would love that. And Heidi says, have you finished repairing your grandmother's green lamp? Nope, it is still sitting there in that exact same spot. Will you see a follow-up video? Hopefully. I'm a bit intimidated by it is the only reason I haven't done it yet. So every time I've gone over there and I've messed with it, I should just tell you, I'm not much for jigsaw puzzles. And every time I sit down, that's what it feels like. And I keep trying to put the pieces in, and then I get intimidated by it because it's like I'm gonna have to just start gluing. But the lamp is shaped. It's got kind of like a bell shape to it, if you will, an upside down bell shape. And so I'm a bit intimidated that I'm going to get it glued in, and then I'm going to have to unglue something to get the next piece or the last piece to fit in correctly. And so I don't know. Hopefully I'll get to it and hopefully I'll make it work. But I'm so afraid of messing it up that it's like I just got to get into a moment where I feel confident with it before I start doing it. And a moment where I don't think I'm going to get pulled away by something else also. So hopefully I get the courage to do it. But I want it rebuilt for sure. I miss that lamp. It's so beautiful in my mind. And Mountain Truth says, that's bar music. Try Mandolin Orange and Still Drivers. Yes. So I like the Still Drivers. And of course, everybody loves, I shouldn't say everybody, but I know a lot of people love Chris Stapleton. And I'm not sure who Mandolin Orange is, but I will look them up. But yes, I agree. Mandolin Orange. I'm writing it down because I will forget. So thank you. And Dixie says, firearm insurance is an infringement on my Second Amendment right. The lawsuit is an infringement on your Second Amendment right. That's how I feel about it. I feel like you're defending your life or the life of others who are endangered, and then the assailant's family comes and sues you. That's an infringement right there. Like you're just protecting those around you. Happy Chappy says, sorry, what program was that you use for music? It's Shotcut. So SHOTCUT. So Shotcut. See if I can write it out here. I can't comment. Oh, maybe I can. I can actually do it right here. I'll just type it in to the comments. Shotcut. Sorry, my brain again not thinking this morning. Brett said, and it's free, by the way, Happy Chappy. It's absolutely free. You can download it off the internet, and it's what I've been using. I started out using DaVinci 17, but found that it used up too much memory on my computer. So then I started using Shotcut. It works out great. I did try to use whatever the Adobe one is, Adobe Premiere Pro or whatever. Way too advanced for me, way over my head. I couldn't do it. So Shotcut it is. It works well enough for what my needs are. And Brett says, handy for when your firearms disappear in a freak random boating accident, though, right? Like what firearms? I don't have any firearms. I haven't had firearms for a long time. And Ira says, great hangout. Good night, y'all. Good night, Ira. I hope you have a good Mother's Day tomorrow. And tell your mom hi for me for sure. And Mandu says, Alaska cut the cord. When are you doing a live chat? We got to get you guys doing lives as well. And Clint is saying goodnight to Ira. Chris says, on the positive side, my first grandchild was born at 3.5 hours after the shooting. She's beautiful and I'm smitten. Well, that's good. I'm glad that you had something positive come out of this week for you, Chris. And what is the granddaughter's name, if you don't mind? You don't have to say the whole name, of course, but just I'd like to know what they decided to call the little girl. And Brent says, bye, Ira. Enjoy your day. And Trisha says, does anyone know a private place to rent near Willow for the summer? My builder dumped me, and to get some place to build, I think I need to be there. Yeah, I think being here, especially if you're going to have something built, is smart because you need to keep an eye on your builder. But also, it's smart just so you have a place to stay while whatever you're having built, you have a roof over your head. And then Trisha says to message her if anybody knows of anybody. And Dixie says Star Wars was by John Williams. Yes, but it was his version was based off of an original piece of music. So he basically stole the same. I can't sing. I can't carry beat or a tune in my head at all. But the same rhythm came from another piece of music. And when you hear it, you'll recognize it. And I'm pretty sure it might be who you mentioned, but I can't say for certain. And Michelle Stevens, hello, how are you doing tonight? Michelle says, hi from Michelle in Horse Creek, Queensland, Australia. Just going into winter here. Yeah, you guys are, like I said, just 180 degrees opposite of our things here. And Chris is saying, good evening. All need beauty sleep. Good night, Chris. And again, congratulations on the granddaughter. I bet she's absolutely beautiful. And Charlotte and Dave say, going to have breakfast now, looking into cruises to Alaska with our daughter in the future. Speak next time. Well, have a good evening or good day for you there, actually, since you're off to have breakfast. And I will see you guys on the next one. And enjoy the rest of your day as well. And good luck with finding that perfect cruise to Alaska. And Mountain Truth says, pull your head forward and off angle and your neck will pop. Yeah, I'm sure me sitting like this isn't doing good, but believe it or not, right now it's actually rather comfortable, which is why I'm sitting like this with your arms. Yep, pull your head forward and off angle. So like this, straight. Yep. And Dixie says, some guy just caught like an 80-pound lake trout in Colorado. I saw that. They said that it was like world record trout. That thing had to be absolutely huge. I've had lake trout in the past. Of course, I caught them in wintertime, and they were the skinniest things that you'd ever seen. I was just like, oh my goodness, these are not what I was hoping for. I was hoping to catch like that giant lake trout like he caught for sure. From Chapel Hill, Colorado. Interesting. Oh, that's where you're at. From Chapel Hill, Mountain Truth. Sorry about that. And Dixie says it's all an infringement. Yes, all of it. I agree. And Mandu says, Happy Mother's Day alone and to everyone. Well, thank you, Mandu. Appreciate that very much. And I agree. Happy Mother's Day to every mother out there. And Delia says, Good night, everyone. Good night, Delia. Thank you for being here. Mount Truth says, Dang, that water has a bunch of heavy metal. That water has a bunch of heavy metal. Yes, the Copper River here and probably most of the water in Alaska actually has heavy metals in it for sure. And Chris is saying Rowan. Oh, that's a beautiful name. Absolutely a beautiful name. Well, congratulations again, Chris. And tell your daughter that I said congratulations also. And Dixie says, heavy metal. Rock on. And then Mountain Tree says, Williams just copies. Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. I'm like, I know the song because I've heard it. And when you hear it, you'll recognize it. Mountain Tree says, bit late on the beauty for me. Oh my goodness. That noise is my alarm going off, not my wake up alarm, but like one of the camera alarms that you just heard. So, but the wind has been blowing. So I'm pretty sure that it's either wind or mosquitoes flying around everything. So just so you guys can see if this will pull up. I do not want to do that. I don't know if you can see that. Oh, it's not going to show with all the colors. But if it was, this right here is still bright blue sky outside. But that's the backyard right now. And as you can see, it's bright blue sky and it's 12:30 in the morning here. No darkness for me at the moment. And sunrise is at what? Just before 5 o'clock. Dixie says, John Williams could have been influenced by Holst and Tchaikovsky. Yes, most likely. As are many people. I mean, you get into a field and then you find who influences you and you pull a little bit of their style into your style. I think that's pretty common. Delia says, Good night alone. Today was a long day taking care of my Alzheimer's dad. See you in your videos. Well, thank you for being here, Delia, and I appreciate it. And kudos again to you for taking care of your father. And I will see you on the next one. I appreciate it. Happy Chappy says, Are you building your smokehouse this summer? I would love to. I want to get the outdoor kitchen built and I want it to basically be incorporated to the outdoor kitchen. So I'm not sure if I'll get that built this year or not. But I was looking at plans for the outdoor kitchen just the other day. So we'll see what I'm able to accomplish this year. But also doing YouTube full time, it means I'm also going to have to be a little bit more conscientious about what my spending is. So we'll see how much I actually get done when it comes to having to buy things to build things. But I could do that probably with as much scrap lumber as I have around here too. And Mountain Truth says, I'm telling you how to fix it. Gotta lay down and relax. Pull your head forward while laying down. Mandolin Orange is from Chapel Hill. Okay, thank you. The water has all the lost weapons in it. I'm in New Mexico. Gotcha. Sometimes I get a little lost in the conversation. So thank you for clarifying. That does make sense why there'd be so much heavy metal in all that water with all those lost weapons. Oh my goodness. Good night, Mandu. Have a good one. Thank you again for joining us tonight. And Heidi says, Do you have pierced ears or non-pierced? My ears were pierced as a child, but I don't ever wear earrings. They were pierced against my will. I was not a fan of it when I was growing up. I don't ever wear earrings. I don't actually wear any jewelry other than these two bracelets. That's all I ever wear. Um, but when I was a kid, I wore jewelry all the time, but I don't anymore. It's too much trouble for me, I think, more than anything. And happy Mother's Day to you as well, Heidi. Thank you. Happy Chappy says, That's so wild. I've been in those kind of light hours and the opposite, but still hard to imagine that right now, right? That I could go outside and I could literally walk around as if it was daylight right now in the middle of the night. And Dixie says, Do you have, nope, Dix, sorry. And Gustav Holt's 9 Planets video on YouTube posted link, but didn't show. Okay, I'll look it up. I'll definitely look it up. Brett says, what weapons? I lost my weapons in a boating accident, as insurance can attest to. There you go. You'll just have to show the claim to that one if that's whatever comes of it. And Brent says, how the pantry going, and how's Kenai, and how's the sewing room going? The pantry is going just fine. I need to actually start canning. I was thinking about that earlier. I was like, I really need to get some of that meat canned and out of the freezer. I don't want it sitting in the freezer for too long. It's already been long enough. And then Kenai's doing just fine, other than he is asleep right now. But when he was awake earlier, when I was on Steve's live stream, he was begging for attention. So it was cute because he's like, you slept all day and now you're just talking. Come pet me. And Happy Chappy says, when's your family visiting? Well, I don't know when my mom and daughter will be up. I know they were talking about doing a cruise, and my son will be up later this summer. So yeah, and I talked to him yesterday, and he's definitely already got plans in the make. So that is for sure happening. And Happy Chappy says, when are you heading to my Homer? I don't actually know yet, but the stone that I'm getting for my countertop is being produced there. And so once they have that ready, then I'll be taking a trip down to pick that up. So sometime, but I don't know exactly when. And Dixie's saying, Homer, do just need a donut to go with that. And the Nomi saying, my canner is going rat-a-tat-tat-tat right now, canning some Irish coddle. Oh, that sounds delicious. Did you make it for a video, Nomi? I don't know if you did, if with the weekend you've had, but if you did, that would be a fantastic video. And JR says, in Nevada, if you fire a weapon in self-defense, the round legally belongs to the offender when it leaves the barrel. That's awesome. That's the way it should be. I think. I don't know. It's 12:30 in the morning. Maybe I need to think on that for a minute. And John says, I fell asleep. Must be a sign, lol. Yeah, that it's late in the night and that my voice is very soothing. So I never take offense when somebody falls asleep when listening to my videos or to the live chat, because, like I said, it's done it to me a time or two while editing. Happy Chappy says, how long is the drive for you to Homer? I believe it's like 16 hours from here to Homer. So I believe, I could be wrong. It might be 8 hours. Maybe it was 16 hours round trip. Yeah, it's got to be 8 hours and 16 round trip. Now watch, I'll look it up tomorrow and go, I was way off. And Pain Party says, it's so cool your dog's name is Kenai. I lived in Soldotna, right down the road. Beautiful. Yep, that's exactly what he's named after too. And hello, Melina. I hope I said that right. It says, lots of love from Greece. You have a fan from here. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And welcome to the chat and the live stream. I appreciate you being here as well. Good night, John in Alaska. Have a good night. I hope you sleep well. Probably better once you sign off from the live chat. And Gnome says he did make the Irish coddle for a video. Awesome. Fantastic. I will look forward to watching it. And Dixie says, what is coddle? Nomi, you want to tell him what coddle is? Coddle is basically an Irish stew. But I'll let Nomi tell you, or you can always go check out his video too. And JR says, taught concealed carry weapons classes in Nevada. Awesome. I am actually licensed for, I think it's Nevada, Colorado and Nevada. I don't know. When I took my concealed carry class, I got licensed for Colorado, and then I also got licensed for another state that had more reciprocity with other states than Colorado did. So it broadened the number of states that I could legally conceal in, which was nice. And Clint is saying hello to Gnomestead. and to John in Alaska as well. And Mountain True says, that's why I'm out of ammo. Oh my goodness. And Liz says, that old fridge would make a good smoker. That old fridge. Oh, if I had an old fridge. Yeah. Yep. If I did, which I don't. But I thought about that too. And then I was thinking, I don't know, would the plastic put any flavoring into the foods that you're smoking? I don't know. But that is one of the thoughts that I definitely had about using a fridge or anything like that. And Happy Chappy saying, say what? 16 hours? Oh, 8 hours. That makes more sense. Yeah, I think it's 8 hours from here to there and 16 hours round trip. And Happy Chappy says, have you ever traveled in a truck camper before? Yes, when I was younger. My parents had an old like 1970s Ford pickup truck with a camper on the back of it. And as kids, we would ride up in that sleeping loft above the cab of the truck. And, he had where the back window would pop out so we could go back and forth from the cab to the camper. I absolutely loved it. I thought it was the best. Hello, Bo. How are you doing tonight? Bo says, good morning from Fairbanks. Thank you for being here. And JR says, it is 8 hours from Homer to where I'm at. Yep. Thank you for confirming, JR. I thought that's what it was because I was thinking I was like 16 hours. There's no way because it's like 16 hours just to go across the entire state. So Pain Party says, night alone, you're an awesome human being. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. And I appreciate you being here too. And have a good night. And Brett says, truck camper. Does a pickup box under a tarp count? Does my Utah, JR saying Utah is where my concealed carry permit must be from. And that makes sense because it was, Colorado and then Utah. That makes more sense than Nevada. I was going to say, does my old Jeep count as a truck camper? That's what I was camping in when I was overlanding. And Mountain True says, my hound is Ariel, beautiful Swiss Shepherd and Wolf mix, likes truck bumpers. Oh my goodness. Oh, that's funny. Happy Chappy says, how does a concealed carry work if you're going through states? Well, as long as the state that you're carrying in or that you're going into recognizes your concealed carry permit from whatever state you're from, then you can legally conceal a weapon while in their state. But if you travel into a state that doesn't recognize it, then you have to open carry, and hopefully they allow open carry. But a lot of places don't. Though it is changing, more and more places are actually becoming concealed carry states, or JR probably knows what it's called. I'm just going to say 2A states where they're more allowing gun rights than not. So, which is a good thing. And Dixie says, if coddle is just some sort of stew, I don't need to see a video to make it. It's a bit hard to explain. It's a little bit different than your average stew. Yeah. So Nomi's saying a traditional Irish slow cooked stew made with sausage, bacon, onion, carrots, and chicken broth, and sometimes peas. But yeah. And Nomi's saying hi to Clint. And Happy Chappy says, I agree, it is the best. And Nom says that, oh, and the potatoes. How could I forget the potatoes? Lol. And Clint says, it's getting that time of the year when it's too hot to camp here, or at least tent camping, gotta have AC. Yeah, in East Texas, I would think so. You guys are probably already 98 degrees. Weed Eater says, USCCA is a great resource to learn all about legal carry. Covers a lot of info, including carrying state to state. Yep. And also, when you're looking at their insurance, if you get their insurance, make sure you understand what their insurance covers and what a typical lawsuit fees would be, legal fees would be when you're making your decision about getting concealed carry permits or insurance, that is. And Texas, Clint says, Texas has become constitutional carry, thankfully. That is awesome. I wish all states would be, actually. That would be very nice. And JR says constitutional carry states equals 27 out of the 50 states now. Permitless states. Yes, that is what I was trying to explain. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. That is the word I was looking for. Constitutional carry. Yep. And Mountain Truth says, camping in AC, the horror. I think that when I see people with TVs while they're out camping, it's like, what? Why would you want to go take your TV? Aren't you supposed to be out in the woods enjoying nature? And Dixie says, traditional stew. Yep. And Brun says, we're not allowed to carry guns in Australia. We can have licensed guns, but only in a gun club, and no one carries here. Can you go hunting with the guns? And Happy Chappy says, have you ever stayed in a yurt? I have stayed in a yurt, actually. There was yurts available in some of the parks in Colorado that I stayed in. I still prefer, though, to camp in a vehicle, like a camper or when I had my Jeep, as to staying in the yurts. Some of the cabins that I rented, though, in the national parks, those were nice. I like that. Rustic cabins, no running water, nothing fancy about them, bring your own bedding in type thing. But that was more my style. And Georgia's Vintage World. Hello, how are you doing tonight? Says, just managed to catch your live stream here from Durham, England. Love your channel, and I find your videos so relaxing. Thanks for making them. Well, you're welcome, and thank you for watching, and thank you for joining us here tonight. JR says, I had Nevada, Utah, and Florida, and couldn't carry in Colorado. That's unfortunate. I'm surprised if you had Utah that it didn't work for you to carry in Colorado. But I guess that's why I had to get Utah. Yeah, I don't know. You would think that they would, Colorado and Utah would be reciprocal of each other, but I guess not. And Mountain Truth says, don't conceal, just strap them on the hood. Well, I remember as kids, when I was growing up, you could still have them in the gun rack in the back of your pickup truck when you went to school. And then by the time I was done with school, that was all changing. So I don't know. It's a different world today. That's for sure. Happy Chappy says, so for people who do van life, etc., how do they get around going through different states? That is a good question. Maybe JR can answer that one. And JR says, camping air conditioner equals oxymoron, like congressional ethics. Clint says, exactly. No TV or AC, just listening to the peace and quiet of nature. Excuse me, one sec. I think I'm out of water too. I have 2 bottles of water sitting here and they're both empty. Not a drop in either one of them. Oh my goodness. I'm going to have a coughing fit. Give me 1 moment. I'll be right back. Sorry about that. I apologize. I did not want to have another coughing fit, though. And Brooklyn says, and hi, Brooklyn, for being here tonight. Brooklyn says, can't even carry a pocket knife or pepper spray here. No taser either. Yeah, that's unfortunate that you can't even. I don't understand why they don't let people defend themselves. That doesn't make sense to me. And Georgia says, doing well. Thank you. Hope you are too. I am doing just fine. So thank you, Georgia. I appreciate that. And Dixie says, how do you hunt kangaroos without a gun? You call them in with a didgeridoo and hit them in the head with a boomerang. Oh my goodness. Brent says, you can hunt with a licensed gun and with permission from a landowner. No hunting allowed. Oh, excuse me, one sec. No hunting allowed in any forest, etc. People here aren't really into guns. We'd rather go fishing and boating. That makes sense. People in America, though, definitely are into guns. We definitely love our 2A rights and our firearms for sure. JR says Utah, Florida were non-resident, and Colorado does not recognize non-resident permits. Interesting. And Mountain Tree says we don't need no stinking badges. That's a good movie line. Dixie says, I don't like the Badgers either. Happy Chappy says, hope you're okay and got yourself some water. Yes, that is exactly what I had to do. I just got another little tickle right there. It's like I'm talking too much is what it is. And Jared says to Happy Chappy, firearm must be in a locked case separate from ammo out of reach of the driver. Even this is accepted in California or California as it's formerly known. So that's how they are able to travel from state to state when you have a concealed carry permit. Hi, Lisa Marie. How are you doing tonight? Lisa says, hi, alone, new subscriber. Love your videos. Enjoying your live chat. Well, thank you very much. I am so glad you're here tonight with us. And sorry that I'm sitting off center. I should straighten myself up here. Pull my chair over. Sorry. Sit like a normal person. And Clint says, can you eat kangaroo? And the answer to that is yes. Yes, you can. And Happy Chappy says, okay, sweet. Thanks, JR. So then if they pull up somewhere for the night, can they assemble it and then put it back down the next day? I would believe so. And Dixie says, where I live, you can carry any size or type of knife or gun you want, but you can't carry a club. Oh my goodness. Yep. And where I live, I can carry whatever I want to. It doesn't matter. No one's going to stop me on my property. That's for sure. And Mountain Dew says, you're doing well dealing with all these knuckleheads, or I mean, really noobs like me. It's all good. I'm a noob myself. So, and Brett says, why are you saying sorry for the way you're sitting? You're starting to sound Canadian. Oh my goodness. Oh. JR says, I can carry a gun, but not a tune. That's me. That is absolutely me. You don't ever want to try to get me to start singing. You would be sorry. It sounds like that kid Alfalfa or Froggy from our gang. And Dixie says, even a monkey fist or a blackjack is illegal. Well, I would think the monkey fist for sure would be illegal. Happy Chappy says, does the same rules apply for those pepper spray bullet guns? That's a good question. And Clint, or I'm sorry, Bren is saying to Clint, yes, you can eat it. Steaks or smoked or stewed. It's actually really good and healthy meat. Us Aussies don't really eat a lot of it. We eat more beef and lamb here. And Mountain Tree says, been carrying my whole life. They can figure it out. Yep. Weed Eater says, little rascals. That's what it is. Our gang, the little rascals. Yep. JR, same here, Clint says. Well, I'm going to shut this down in about 5 minutes. But I do want to thank everybody for being here tonight with me. And we actually went longer tonight than I expected us to. So I want to thank you guys all because because of you guys, the time flies by when I do these live streams. So I really appreciate it. Dixie says a monkey fist is like a blackjack. Oh, that's interesting. I didn't know what a blackjack was, but I do know what the monkey fist is. JR says they use monkey fist in most boat marinas to cast lines from boat to boat, to and from boats. Yep. So many rules to learn. Happy Chappy says, yes, that is definitely true. JR says, check your email in the morning. We'll send tonight. Thank you very much. I appreciate that, JR, and I will definitely do that. And I'll get back to all the comments that you guys may have left on the recent video. I'll start delving into those tomorrow. So I apologize to anybody who did not get a response from me today, but those will be coming your way soon. And Brent says, alone, bye, alone, take care. I will. And Brent, thank you again. And I will be checking out some more of your videos for sure. So you should be seeing some comments from me soon also. And Happy Chappy says, night alone. Thank you for being here. See you next month. I'll see you guys in a month. So we'll plan again for about the middle of June. And I appreciate you guys waiting for me patiently to do these Saturday night lives. And Brooklyn says, damn, I didn't realize it's 5 a.m. See, that's what I'm talking about. It goes by quick. The time really flies. You have a good one too, Brooklyn. I appreciate you joining me on the live stream. Mountain Truth says, it's like a ball and a chain without a marriage license. Oh my goodness. You're not lying, but oh my goodness. You guys are a lot of fun, that's for sure. Well, Nomi says, toodles, homie, and all the Nomies. Have a good one, Gnomestead, and I hope you have a better day tomorrow. And I look forward to your video about the coddle. And Happy Chappy says, it's not that patiently waiting. Yeah. Well, just so you know, we might do another one in between there, but let's plan for at least a month and see how things go. And JR says, night, heart. What? Oh my goodness. Good night, JR. Thank you. And thank you for all your help, as always. And Weed Eater says, alone, have a good night and enjoy Mother's Day. I appreciate that, Weed Eater. And enjoy sitting on your deck in your shorts like you were the other day. Clint says, you missed a good live stream the other night. We had a good time. I heard that Two Bears told quite a whopper of a story too. I wish I'd got to see it. I went back to read the comments, and like the first portion of the comments that weren't showing to me. So I don't even know half the stuff you guys talked about, but that's what I get for having a power outage. Excuse me. AK Homegrown Roots says, happy Mother's Day to all the mamas and good night to all hugs. Good night, AK Homegrown Roots. And if I didn't say good night to you, Clint, good night also. And Clint is saying, have a good evening and morning, everyone. Peace to be with you. And Brett says, you have a great chat discussions. Been a good time here since I found your channel. Thanks for streaming and good convo. Happy Mother's Day. Thank you, Brett. I appreciate all of that. And I hope you have a great day as your day progresses. And thank you for joining us tonight. And Mountain Truth, I thank you for being here also. And says, good speed, y'all. Stay frosty. Yep. And with that, I'm going to shut her down. And good night to everyone. Good morning to everyone. Happy Mother's Day to all you moms out there. And I will see you guys on the next live stream. Until then, stay safe and take care.